lights are getting flashier.
Yes, they are. All right, first question.
Well, it seems the fight already set for UFC 189 and International Fight Week. That has to feel pretty huge for you to have that type of stage.
Yeah, it's absolutely phenomenal. It's exactly what I set out to do, and now here we are. July 11th, the belt will be clicked around my waist.
But are you at all upset that it won't be happening in the stadium that had been talked about for so long?
You know, I feel the stadium will still happen. It's there. A few issues came up, a small few issues with the curfew. It would have eliminated the pay-per-views, the American pay-per-view market. So if you factor in the fact that it's a 90,000-seater stadium and then the size of the gate, but then you factor in a smaller gate in Las Vegas, but with the pay-per-view buzz, it's bigger business in Las Vegas, and they cut me in on the sweet pay-per-view, so the stadium will have to wait.
Well, your fans certainly don't ever have a problem coming over here to see you.
And that's another thing. How can I complain? You know, this is that Vegas fight feel, that fight week feel. When the Irish descended on the fight capital last time for the Poirier fight, it was something to behold. And now we're coming back in search of gold now. You know what I mean? So it's gonna be something special. So I cannot complain. It's a dream come true for me.
You're one of those athletes who seems to want to control not just his image but also his money. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, you know, I feel you should be in control of your own finances. You should be. I don't have a manager. I have people. I have agents and people who work for me. But I am in control of everything that goes on in my life, inside and outside. And that's the way I feel it should be. If I look at other athletes from maybe boxing or something like that, you know, or even in MMA, they let people take advantage and take control of their situation. Nobody takes control of my situation except me. I am in control inside the octagon and outside the octagon.
What do you contribute this very, very strong confidence to? Is there something in your childhood, in your past? Where do you get this extreme confidence?
I don't know. I'm just being myself. You know, I just from looking around and from knowing myself and not know yourself to know others, as Bruce Lee said. I feel that rings true, and I know myself, and I don't know. I am a confident man.
She mentions the money, but I remember that you said something along the lines of you like to spend all of your purse from your last fight just to keep yourself hungry. How much of the last fight card, the payout, have you indulged in so far?
Well, I actually haven't had time to even stop and think, and I think I'm kind of liking that. Just keep the train rolling, keep going, and keep focusing. Straight back into the gym. I think I'm grown up a little bit, but don't get me wrong. I still it's getting harder to spend it. Let's just say that.
There were initial reports that the fight was going to happen in May. With all the momentum you've had, are you at all frustrated having to wait all the way until July?
I mean, when they rang me and told me that I wasn't going to be May 23rd, I mean, it's longer. I would rather I like to be kept active. But July 11th is the bigger date, International Fight Week. It has the international appeal. So you put the big dog on the big date. So that's what they done. July 11th it is, and I'm planning on competing in a jiu-jitsu tournament which is in Rome in April, early April. So that'll be a nice little break and continue training, and it'll be good to keep active in another sport.
Conor, you're the face of the Irish MMA, obviously, but that also comes at a price. It seems the UFC a bit apprehensive about returning to Ireland without you. How do you feel about that? That maybe they won't hold another event there?
I tell you what. That's an interesting one, right? I have the stadium locked down. You bring me back, and we can do the stadium 5 times over. But we've got many athletes coming up. You know, Paddy Houlihan. You know, many guys representing our nation that are on the way up. Like I could easily see. And the fan base in Ireland. Let's talk about the fan base in Ireland. We have a serious fan base for the sport in Ireland, not just for me. A lot of people know me and don't know the sport yet, but it's crossing over. But even before that, there's a serious fan base. You go back to UFC 93 when they first came to Dublin, it sold out and there was no one on the card. No one even knew about it, but there was still that cult following. Let's talk about yesterday at the Q&A. There was the amount of Irish people here for this event alone. Some guy stepped up to the microphone with an Irish flag wrapped around him and said, ask me my opinions on Nick Diaz. We are fans. He said, we are fans of Nick Diaz. We have followed him around the world for the past 6 years watching his fights. So that's the kind of fans we have in Ireland of the sport, let alone me. So we could easily bring it back with or without me. You put Paddy Houlihan, you put Carl Pendry, you put these guys on the card, and we could do the O2 again easily.
You know, Jose Aldo has been described as the kind of fighter that if you push him, he'll push back even further. If you don't push him that much, he might quote-unquote coast to a victory. I know you're very confident, but how do you see him stylistically? Because certainly you're going to push it.
I'm gonna sprint straight for him. I won't give him a second. I'm gonna go in with my hands raised. I'm gonna be talking to him while I'm whooping him at the same time, the same way I do to them all. I feel Aldo has made a career out of being short, stocky wrestlers that are not good on the feet and more intimidated on the feet, and they shoot from halfway across the cage. I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna break him. I'm gonna be on top of him from the bell. I will break Jose Aldo.
And we should ask about that confrontation you had after your fight. I know we've talked about it a little. You talked about it at the Q&A, but what did you feel like you saw in his eyes when you jumped out there?
I saw his eyes turn to glass. Yeah, you can laugh and you can smile all you want, but I could see. You know what I mean? Where was he when it was time to step into the cage? You know what I mean? He was flown over to step into this cage, but all of a sudden, superstition. He was superstitious for some reason. He doesn't step inside the cage, and that's fun unless he's fighting. But that's funny because there's many occasions where he has been in the cage where he hasn't fought. Superstitious to me is another word for fear. I will break him mentally, and I will break him physically.
He's not used to.
Go ahead.
He's not used. Aldo is not used to trash talk a lot with his opponents. But he brought a poster to your fight.
Yeah, it was cute.
How did you see that? Do you think you were kind of getting to his mind?
I thought it was a stupid little poster. I mean, they make these little videos and these stupid posters. It's amusing to me. He was in a little king outfit or something, a little cheap piece of shit it was, to be honest. But I don't care really, you know. I am going to go in and I'm going to break him, and that's all there is to it.
Is it not more fun having an opponent who is willing to sort of indulge you with this stuff a little bit?
It is what it is. I'm not trying to get anybody to indulge me in anything. I'm just calling it like it is, you know. Yeah, I'm sure for the fans enjoy it and it builds it up. But me, it's business.
Do you think because you're so unpredictable, that's maybe what Jose fears the most, is he has no idea what's coming?
I would say so. Yeah, I don't fight like anybody else. I don't throw shots like anybody else. I don't move like anybody else. So it's hard to prepare for a guy like me. And then you're talking with the pressure bubble that comes with fighting me. It's not like fighting a normal man. I don't think people realize that until they are involved in it. And then there's these type of things going on. I mean, people shut down with that. Emotions play a big part in combat. So, but for me, it's another day. I've been doing it since I'm in here. So we will see. I feel confident that he will not be able to handle what I bring.
You often talk about visualizing the finish, and you say that often you do see how that is going to come about. Have you done that at all with this
Yeah, I
fight
think
so
around
far?
the 4-minute mark of the first round, I feel I will knock him out. Yeah.
Now, you mentioned emotions a minute ago. People get very emotional when they talk about you. I literally had about a 20-minute argument with somebody last night who just refused to believe that you have talent. They feel like you spoke your way into a title fight. Why do you think it is that some people react to you in such a negative way?
I don't know. Emotions generate cash, so I don't really give a shit what they say. You know, love me or hate me, as long as they show up and they pay me.
Conor, you have that sort of like karate type of movement that we don't see very often, maybe Lyoto Machida and a few other guys. Can you talk about that use, and do you think that's part of what's stumping guys with you?
Yeah, 100%. You know, when I first trained with Gunnar Nelson, I got to feel that karate style base and that approach, and it's definitely people underestimate the stance and the wide range. They underestimate it until they are in there, and when they're in there, it is too late. But then you have my boxing background, which is what I came up in. So people think closing the distance is the answer, but I am phenomenal in the pocket. I've been in the pocket my whole life. You know what I mean? Growing up boxing my whole life. I live in the pocket, so I have that range. And when they are forced to push and try and close that range, then they are in the pocket with me. Then. And all of these things combined, it's too late for them by then. You know, I just need one clean shot, and it doesn't even have to be in the soft part of the face. It can be around the skull, it can be around anywhere, and it's over.
Conor, with your meteoric rise, you've gotten so much time in the spotlight. Has that at all detracted from the time that we spend at the gym or your focus there?
You know, evolution is key to this game, and things change. You know, you must adapt to every situation. And I travel a lot now. They have me here, they have me there. So I just stay on the flow. I don't even ask the time anymore, because I'm in a different time zone every week. It feels like. So I just go where I am there, and I train wherever I am. You know what I mean? Today I was training in the suite in the hotel. I got a great workout in, full body workout. You know, body weight exercises are phenomenal. I always like to do them animal style movements. So I get my training in wherever I am. I stay in shape. I stay on my diet. My flexibility is getting better every time. I continue to grow. Now we have this, what, I think it's 5 months to the fight, so the guy that fought Português to the guy that fought Siva was much more evolved, much more aware of the frame of movement. I can only imagine what stage I'm going to be at come July.
Conor, you mentioned that 155 might be in your future. How do you see a fight with Anthony Pettis going, you think?
Yeah, I think it'll be a great fight. You know, definitely 155 is in my future. Anthony is phenomenal on the feet. He's got good jiu-jitsu. I feel it'll be a great fight. It's definitely a fight I have my eyes on.
Guys, last question.
A lot of people criticize your rise, saying that you haven't fought a wrestler and therefore this contender spot isn't technically deserved until you've done that. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I love questions. I love that the fans have these type of questions, the wrestler question. When I dispatch Jose and wrap up my belt, then we can go and answer the wrestler question, even though it's a myth in my eyes, you know. But if it's a question the fans want answered, if they're going to pay for the pay-per-views, they're going to show up and see the American wrestler take me down, well then, let's do it.
You know, Bruce Lee was known to keep a notebook of body mechanics, you know, studying the body mechanics of movement. Do you keep a notebook yourself?
Yeah, I keep a note. I keep a note of what my training has been. Like, you know, when you find yourself in a situation in the gym or something or somewhere, and you weren't happy with that movement or that reaction or that situation, it literally sticks in my head, these things do. So I write it down and I write what I feel I should have done, what route I should have taken, and then next day in training or the following couple of days in training, when you find yourself in a situation like that again and you're jotting down what way you should take, what route you should take, and then you take that route and it is successful, I'm almost having a celebration in my head that I got it, you know. And so that's something that I do. Yeah?
Is that something you ever publish, you think, in the future? I mean, are you keeping them where you could? Yeah.
I mean, if people are interested, and the money is there, and no, yeah, who knows? I keep them.
Look at the Tao Jeet Kune Do. I mean, everyone studies that.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. I don't think, you know, another thing. I don't think people would understand what way I'm writing it either. You know, I'm writing my own crazy shit. You know what I mean? In my own head. It'd probably look like nothing. It would probably look like scribbles to most people, but it's here for me.
Have to wrap this up. Sorry. All right.
Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Conor.
You too.